everyone, I'm here on the Thames foreshore. It's about 5:30 in the evening. The tide's on the way down. It should be low at about 6:30. And do you know what? It's been so hot today that I haven't actually been out of the house until now. And now that I'm down here, it's absolutely lovely because there's a nice little breeze coming in off of the river. And yeah, I'm not much of a hot weather person, you know. I find it hard to cope in extreme heat, which is what we've had here, at least by our standards anyway. And apparently there's even hotter weather to come. So anyway, with the tide being on the way out, let's go and see if there are any little pieces of history to be found. Let's go and see what the tide is going to leave out for us today. There's also no wind. Not much anyway, so that's a bit of a treat. Now, if you see anything, don't forget to shout. Now, I've just seen a nice little treasure down here. See if you can spot it down there. See it gleaming there? A lovely marble. Just here, look. Let's pick it up. There we are. Oh, isn't that pretty? That's a beautiful one. Very pretty. That will make a lovely fish eye when I get around to making some more fish. Now, I can see signs of a little bottle stopper here actually. Can you see it there? Just there. I wonder if it's in one piece. Let's get it out. Yes it is, look. Oh, look at that. That is so pretty. That is beautiful. What's that say on it? It looks like Co Limited, doesn't it? That is a beautiful bottle stopper. Let's hold it up to the sun. Beautiful. I wasn't expecting that at all. You see how you have to really just concentrate and get your eye in so you don't miss these little treasures. Let's have a look at this little patch here. Oh my gosh, I just realised I'm staring at something over there, which I think is a lead toy. I don't know, either that or it's a mangled piece of plastic. Can you see it? Oh, I hope it is something. Look, just here. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh, wow, gosh, that must be one of the best lead toys I've found. Look at that. Wow. Let's give this little fella a wash. Let's find a little pool. This is brilliant. You know, when I find lead toys, usually they're grey, not this colour, and usually they don't have a head. This one looks like, I don't know what he is actually, but he is really detailed. Just look at that, he's really heavy. The base is bent. He's got his gun. Could be something Napoleonic. A Napoleonic era soldier, maybe. Wow, that is a special find. Just look at that. I'll give him a little bit more of a clean up when I get home, but I don't want to damage him. Amazing to think that he's been here in the river for so long. 100 years, I'd say, at least. Okay, little soldier, I'm going to take you home. Clean you up a bit. Unbend the bottom there so you can stand up. Wow, that was unexpected. It's funny, sometimes you don't notice things straight away, but you just have to sort of get in the zone and let your eyes relax around you and get used to all the little bits and pieces, and then things like that suddenly become more apparent. I don't know if that made any sense or whether it was a bit of waffling, but yeah, I can't really explain it any other way. So much here to look at. I can't believe that soldier. Oh look, what's that? A pretty little bead. That is beautiful. Well, having found one soldier, I've just seen a little companion over there, but he looks a little bit more worse for wear, a little bit more battle weary, shall we say. Just down here, look, under that rock. Here he is. Okay, yes, not in quite such good condition. This is a little bit more like my usual lead finds. It's got half a leg, no head, and yeah, he's missing at least one hand there. Any more of you down here that need to come back to the haven for wounded lead soldiers? Oh, now down here, that looks like a tiny key for a clock or something. Let's give it a little rinse off. Nice handy pool behind me. Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice. Oh, now see what I've just seen over here. That looks like the bowl of an 18th century pipe. Just there, look. Let's see how much of it there is underneath this mud. Let's gently scrape that mud away. There we are. What's that? Oh, it's a bit of chalk, I think. Right, let's have a look here. Oh, well, there's a little bit of stem. Probably not a great deal, but let's do a little extraction, shall we? Here she comes. There we go. Oh, look at that. Out it comes. Well, that's very acceptable. Very acceptable. Let's go and give it a little rinse. Look at that little pipe stem hole there, where it's been living for the last few centuries. Pop down to the water's edge, give it a little rinse, see if we can see any signs of a maker on there. So this pipe will fade completely, probably overnight, from this black colour here, and it will be completely creamy like that colour there, the original colour. Is there a maker on there? Yeah, I think there's something. Great! A lovely 18th century pipe. it going to be intact? Is it going to be broken? It looks like it's been etched here. See? Acid etched. Oh my, this is exciting. Oh, it's exciting. What kind of bottle is this going to be? Is it going to be like a Skittle bottle? Could it be a torpedo bottle? And is it going to be in one piece? We're about to find out. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, look at that. It looks like a little Skittle type bottle, and it is in one piece. Excellent. And we're going to get a name on there. Right, let's go and wash it. Let's go and wash this little beauty off. I've got a few of these, but I've never had one that's been acid etched. Oh, that's lovely. It looks like it's even got a cork in it. There we are, look. Now, can you notice now that it's wet, it's harder to see what's on there. Oh, that's really, really nice. Yeah, rolling. Well, that was a lovely little outing on a beautiful summer's evening. Look, there's the Port of London Authority. Now they are the people that you need to get your permit from if you are going to try mudlarking. And you can find all the information on their website. The permit currently is about, I think it's about £98 for 3 years, something like that. And on their website it also gives all the details, all the conditions, etc. But anyway, that was a beautiful evening. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. It's lovely and cool down here, so calm and peaceful. And what have I found? So I've got a beautiful soldier, I have a gorgeous bottle stopper, a bottle, and various other little bits and pieces, a nice clay pipe. Let's go home and take a closer look at them. Hi everyone, it's Monday the 18th of July and they weren't kidding. It's the morning and it's already absolutely baking hot. So I've ventured out for a couple of hours. I've got my hat on, my sunscreen, loads and loads of water, and I'm heading down to the water's edge because where better to be if we can't be in the water, at least we can be next to it. I've just put my knee pads on my bare knees because I've got my shorts on. I don't often wear shorts when I go mudlarking, but if you're going to wear shorts mudlarking, today is the day to do it. But these knee pads feel kind of a bit yucky on my bare knees. They feel a bit kind of sweaty, but never mind. You don't need to know that, do you? I've just seen something here. It looks like a buckle. See it amongst these rocks? I mean, you just have to have knee pads though when you're mudlarking because then you can kneel down and relax. Here we are, look. A little buckle. I wonder how many things are going to buckle with the heat today. There's no wind today, which is great for filming. But it would be nice to have a little breeze, nevertheless. Now look at this pottery down here, right next to actually what looks like could possibly be a skull. But let's have a look at the pottery first. That looks like a nice bit. I think I see a nice finger printy type detail there. Mind you, big finger, maybe a thumbprint. Could be 17th century, it could be earlier even. Give it a little rinse. nice, isn't it? That's beautiful. There's the river police over there. Hopefully they won't have to rescue too many people who decide to have a swim in the Thames today because it's so hot. I know it can be very tempting, but it's a pretty dangerous river to swim in. Is this going to be a skull? I think it could be, you know. Maybe part of a skull. Look, I think it's half a skull. There's actually lots and lots of bones here, and oyster shells and the like, bits of clay pipe stem. It's definitely an old dump area. It could date back to Tudor times, Georgian, it could have a bit of everything really. So I expect that a lot of these bones were at one time in a kitchen or on a big Tudor dinner table, Georgian table, being prepared by the chef or cut up by the butcher. Yeah, look. I would hazard a guess that that might be a sheep. There's two great big helicopters up there. Zoom in. Making a racket on this nice peaceful day. Anyway, back to the skull. I would imagine it's a sheep, something like that. I mean, it's too small to be a cow, isn't it? What do you think? Sheep? See, another bone there. Lots and lots of bones. All the signs of eating, drinking, smoking, dinners, lunches. Look, a little bit of clay pipe stem here. Oh, and it has a maker on the side, look. I'll keep that. I like having these pieces of pipe with the maker because, you know, there are databases with the maker's names and it's quite fun to see if you can match some of them up. That looks like an H there. The surname is on the right hand side as it's facing away from you, and then the first name, Christian name, is there on the left. So maybe Henry somebody. Look, oyster shells as well. Definitely lots of waste from the kitchen or the dinner table thrown out here. Oh look, there's a massive padlock staring up at me. I almost missed it. Oh, okay, I've covered it in mud now. I'll take it with me and sort of rinse it off in a minute. We'll have a look, see if we can get some of that crustiness off of it. What else have we got? Oh look, it's a little bottle emerging from the mud. There, just here, look. See what it is. It's probably plain. Yeah, it is plain, look. A little bottle. Nice colours in the sun. Oh, it's so nice to be under this pier, sheltering from the sun, which actually is alarmingly hot. So, here's the padlock. It might just fall apart, but let's see. Let's have a look. Oh, we're going to get a bit of wake in a minute. That'll be quite nice. Actually, it's not too badly crusted up. I think a lot of it has eroded away already, to be honest. Now, if I was a pigeon, I would love my nest up there. It's just lovely. Look at that. It's in the shade, and when the tide comes up at night, it must just be really atmospheric. And it's very, very safe. Believe me, squawking little squab, that is a brilliant nest. That is one good mummy pigeon. Oh, look. I think baby pigeons are called squabs. It's strange because there's so many pigeons, but you rarely see the babies. Well, that's me done. I'm going to go home and jump in a cold shower and take a look at the things which I collected today. Thank you very much for joining me on this Mediterranean style morning on the River Thames. Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching those 2 mudlarking excursions along the River Thames foreshore in London at low tide, searching for history. And what great days they were, but very, very hot. In fact, I can definitely confirm that Monday the 18th of July is the hottest day that I have ever been mudlarking. So thank you very much to my friend Becca for the loan of her marvellous straw hat, which made absolutely all the difference. And it's cooled down here a lot now, thankfully. It's the 22nd of July today, and so the temperatures have come down a lot since the Monday 18th of July, the second part of that mudlarking excursion there, which you just watched. I'd like to give a massive shout out to the firefighters here in London, in the area which I live. When I got home that day, there were several fire engines outside, and quite close to where I live there's a really big heath, and it's just covered in very long, very dry grass, very, very dry because it hasn't rained for such a long time. And apparently a discarded bottle, a glass bottle, and the very, very strong sunlight conspired to create this fire on the heath, and luckily the firefighters were there within a very short amount of time, and so a minimum amount of damage was done. I went over there to have a look, and it's such a beautiful heath and there's such a lot of wildlife there, so I'm just so grateful that they were able to put the fire out before it caused a whole lot more damage and before it became a real threat to life. Sadly, in other parts of London there were quite a few fires and a lot more damage. Anyway, so moving on to the mudlarking finds, I'm going to start with this lovely bottle stopper here, which definitely looks as if it has come from a perfume bottle as opposed to a food bottle, for example. I use Twitter a lot as a resource for finding out information about my finds because there's so many experts on Twitter, and if they aren't experts, a lot of people have opinions and so much knowledge about miscellaneous things, and so it's a good place to find out information about things I find in the mud. So it would appear that this bottle stopper is a bottle stopper from Grossmiths. Now it's quite funny because I've actually found quite a lot of Grossmiths perfume bottle stoppers in the past, but small pewter ones. So this is the first glass bottle stopper I've found from that company. Grossmiths is one of the oldest perfume houses in the world, and it was founded by John Grossmiths back in the early to mid 19th century. And so it's really lovely to have another bottle stopper from that company. It was also suggested by my friend Michael Knapp that it could be from J. Giraud. As you can see here, it also does have a logo very similar, so it's a definite possibility. We can't find anything that actually matches up exactly. So thanks for that suggestion, Michael, and maybe you have also some thoughts on it. Next, I wanted to mention this resplendent soldier here who really has come through battling the Thames tides over the last century in very good condition, much better than most of my other little lead soldier battalion, most of whom have lost lots of limbs, if not all of them, and lots of heads as well. So this soldier kept his head, so maybe that's why he survived, and he's in brilliant condition actually. I've managed to unbend the base. His bayonet does look a little bit like a snake. I've tried to unbend it a bit, but I don't want to break it. And so I also put him on Twitter, and so he could be any number of things. It's been suggested he could be a line infantry grenadier, a French Imperial Guard, a Garde Chasseur, a British infantryman from the Napoleonic War, or a French Napoleonic model soldier. So again, I'm veering towards the Napoleonic soldier, French Napoleonic soldier theory. But do you have any thoughts? If you do, please put them down in the comments below. Now this lovely piece of pottery here, I believe to be a piece of post-medieval redware, probably from a kitchen pot. And as always with my Thames pottery, I have consulted my go-to Thames pottery book, which is very, very useful if you haven't got it already. Try and get the glare off it. Identifying the Pottery of the Thames Foreshore by none other than the Professor of Thames Pottery himself, Richard Hemery. It's a brilliant book. You can get it on eBay, and it comes to you in PDF format so you can print it out. But it's really good for identifying the shards of pottery which you find on the Thames. And of course we find lots and lots of pottery. And I also find, talking of pottery, lots of pieces with little scenes on. Like this one, for example, which I found recently, a man on a horse. I've got all sorts, bits with children playing on them, ladies holding jugs, ladies at fountains. And I always enjoy trying to identify the larger piece of pottery, or the plate or the bowl that it might have come from. So I was really thrilled, actually, this week to receive a book. This one here is called Chinoiserie, Printed British Ceramics in the Chinese Style, by Dr. Richard Halliday and also Lauren Zeller. And it's full of pictures of pottery, the likes of which I find on the river. Of course, I don't find the entire plate or pot. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But I usually find little fragments of it, and it's very helpful to have something like this because I can have a look in here and see if it matches up to any of the entire pieces in this book. But not only that, I wanted to mention to you that Dr. Richard Halliday, he is on the board of directors of the Transferware Collectors Club, a club which I may have to join at some point, because on this Transferware Collectors Club website there is a huge database of patterns, and so it's hugely useful. And what you need to do is go onto the database. If you find a piece, for example, like this with a horse and rider, or if you find a piece with a sheep on it or a bird on it, you can go on there, type in horse and rider, bird, sheep, peacock, whatever, and a whole list of the different designs will come up that feature these things like horses and butterflies and birds and what have you. So very, 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 very useful if any of you, like me, sometimes find these shards and wonder what the whole piece would have looked like. So do go on and have a little look at that on the Transferware Collectors Club website. Going back to my finds, no one was more surprised than me when this padlock emerged from that crusty mess that I picked up, which I very nearly didn't take home because it was just a big mess of algae and mud and rust and bits of stone. But when I got home and started bashing it outside with a hammer, it sort of all fell off to reveal the beautiful interior here. This lovely padlock. I mean, it's a little worse for wear, but it's really impressive, isn't it? It just goes to show, don't judge a padlock by its crusty exterior. You never know what's hiding underneath. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm guessing early 20th century, late 19th century. What do you think? Amazingly, it works there as well. I could use it as a padlock to my studio door. So there's that. Also, I wanted to mention this skull here, this half a skull. It's very deliberately been sliced down the middle. So I would imagine that that must have been a butcher from Georgian times or a chef in Tudor times that was serving up some kind of delicious mutton broth and who has carefully cut the skull and popped it in the pot and simmered it for ages and then added some carrots and onions and what have you, and then it was served up to a load of people, and then this ended up in the mud. There you go. That's where my imagination takes me at times. You may have other ideas, and you may not agree that it's a sheep's skull. So again, please put your thoughts in the comments below. I'm always very, very happy to read them. Talking of dinners, my friend Michael, he also just sent me a fragment of plate that he found. It's really nice, look, it's got whites on it. So when I decide to open my restaurant, which won't be anytime soon, by the way, and I want to serve up my Thames mud pie on it, as opposed to Mississippi mud pie, I will be able to have my own range of plates and bowls using this lovely design. Whites. Isn't that nice? So thank you very much for that, Michael. I think that's about it for my finds. And so I do just want to mention to you again about the Totally Thames Festival, which is coming up for the entire month of September. There's loads of mudlarking events going on, mudlarking talks, there's loads of walks on the River Thames. I'm doing a talk on Saturday the 10th of September and it's free. It's at the Maritime Museum in Greenwich and you just need to book a ticket on the Totally Thames website. And so all sorts of things going on there. Do take a look and see what's happening because there are definitely online events that you can join in with on the schedule of events. You don't have to be here in person for all of them. Also, lastly, I am going down to Cornwall as well. I think it's the 24th and 25th of September to do some detecting with finds. And so that's also an opportunity if you would like to join us to come down to Cornwall, which is where I grew up, by the way. I love Cornwall. It's got a really close place in my heart. I used to go to the beach there all the time and went to school there, and it's a really beautiful place. So if you get the opportunity to come down, please do join us. I'll put some details up on the screen, and also for the Thames exhibitions and the metal detecting, I'll put a link in the description of this video. So I think that's about it now. So again, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. And I'd like to say, of course, a huge thank you to you all for your continued support. Thank you to everybody who has donated and who continues to donate to my Ko-fi account. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. So until the next time, until the next mudlarking excursion, I wish you all the very best, sending you lots of love from London. Stay safe, be happy, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.